Right now, somewhere in a parallel universe, you don't exist. Not because something went wrong, but because something went right. For the dinosaurs. 65 million years ago, a rock the size of a small city came screaming through Earth's atmosphere at 45,000 miles per hour. And the second it hit, everything changed. For them, and eventually for us. But here's the question nobody really thinks through all the way. What if that rock missed? What if dinosaurs never went extinct? And what does that actually mean for the world you're living in right now? The answer is more unsettling than you think. And we're going to work through it piece by piece. First, let's be clear about what we're actually talking about. When most people imagine dinosaurs surviving, they picture a Jurassic Park situation. T-Rexes walking down Main Street, Triceratops grazing next to a Starbucks. That's not what this is. This is a thought experiment grounded in real evolutionary biology. And the first thing scientists will tell you is, you can't just freeze the dinosaurs in time and drop them into the modern world. Evolution doesn't work that way. If that asteroid missed, Earth dinosaurs would have kept evolving. For 65 million more years, that's the same amount of time that separates us from them right now. Think about how different life on Earth was 65 million years ago. Then think about what 65 million more years of uninterrupted dinosaur evolution would actually produce. We're not talking about the same animals. We're talking about something we can barely imagine. And that's where this gets really interesting. Here's the open loop I want you to hold on to. We'll get to whether something like a human could still have evolved. But before we get there, we need to talk about what happens to the creatures that were supposed to take over. When the asteroid hit, mammals were tiny. We're talking shrews, small, nocturnal, hiding in burrows. The only reason mammals exploded in size and diversity after the extinction event, the only reason you have horses, elephants, whales, lions, and humans is because dinosaurs left the building. Without that extinction event, mammals stay small, they stay in the shadows. The ecological niches that would eventually produce large intelligent mammals, those niches are already occupied by dinosaurs. There's no open territory for evolution to experiment with. The dinosaurs are running the show. On land, in the water, in the air, they're everywhere. Every role in the food chain? Taken. So the mammals that would eventually lead to primates, which would lead to us, they never get their shot. But here's where the story gets genuinely fascinating. Paleontologist Dale Russell proposed something back in 1982 that still gets scientists talking today. He looked at a dinosaur called Troodon, a small bipedal predator with forward-facing eyes, binocular vision, and a brain-to-body ratio that was unusually large for a dinosaur. It was one of the most intelligent creatures of its era. Russell asked a simple but explosive question. If Troodon kept evolving over millions more years following the same trajectory, where does it end up? His answer, and he actually built a model of this, was something he called the dinosauroid. Bipedal. Upright posture, large skull, manipulative hands. It looked disturbingly humanoid. Now, not all scientists agree that evolution would have followed that exact path. Evolution doesn't have a destination. It's not aiming for anything. But the underlying point stands. Intelligence was already emerging in the dinosaur lineage. Raptors showed problem-solving behavior, pack hunting, tool-adjacent behavior, social structures. Given 65 million more years, some branch of the dinosaur family tree might have developed what we'd recognize as advanced cognition, communication, maybe even language, maybe even civilization. We might not be alone on this planet. We might not even be the top species. Something else might have gotten there first. And that changes everything about the physical world too. Think about this. The coal, oil, and natural gas buried beneath the Earth's surface, the fossil fuels that powered the Industrial Revolution and shaped the entire modern world, those resources exist largely because of the mass extinction event. Dead organic matter compressed over tens of millions of years, the remnants of a collapsed biosphere. If that biosphere never collapsed? The carbon cycle keeps running. The organic matter gets recycled back into the ecosystem. You don't get the same massive underground deposits of fossil fuels. Would a dinosaur civilization even have an industrial revolution? Would they hit an energy crisis? Would they develop different energy systems entirely, ones that maybe don't cook the atmosphere? We genuinely don't know. But the planet's physical chemistry would be different. The atmosphere might be different. The landscape would almost certainly look different after 65 million more years of an uninterrupted Mesozoic ecosystem. The Earth we're standing on right now, the geography, the resources, the climate, it's all downstream from that one moment when a 6-mile-wide rock changed the rules. Now, let's get back to that open loop. Could something like a human still evolve in a world where dinosaurs survived? The honest answer is almost certainly not. Not us, not Homo sapiens. The specific sequence of events that produced human beings is so precise, so dependent on a cascade of unlikely circumstances that removing the asteroid essentially removes us from the equation entirely. But, and this is where the philosophy gets heavy, does that mean intelligence couldn't evolve? Does that mean consciousness couldn't emerge? Some scientists argue that intelligence is what biologists call convergent, meaning given enough time and enough environmental pressure, evolution tends to find its way back to similar solutions. Eyes evolved independently over 40 different times in Earth's history. Flight evolved separately in birds, bats, and insects. Complex social structures appear across species that share no recent common ancestor. So maybe, intelligence was always going to emerge on this planet. Just not from us, from something else? Something that looked at the night sky with very different eyes. Something that asked very different questions. Something that might have figured out answers we never will. That thought should keep you up at night, in the best possible way. Here's what I want you to take away from all of this. We tend to think of human existence as inevitable, like the universe was building toward us. Like we were always going to be here, standing on 2 legs, building cities, sending spacecraft to other planets. But the truth is, we are the result of a near-infinite chain of accidents. That asteroid hitting at exactly the right angle, in exactly the right place, at exactly the right time. That's one link in that chain. One lucky link. Dinosaurs weren't failures. They dominated this planet for 165 million years. For context, modern humans have existed for roughly 300,000 years. We're the new kids. We haven't even come close to their run. They weren't wiped out because they were weak or inefficient. They were wiped out because a random space rock had their name on it. And in a slightly different universe, one where the trajectory of that asteroid was off by just a few degrees, we never exist. And they keep going. And maybe, in some form, they're still out there, not as fossils, as civilizations. The fossil record is a graveyard, but it's also a reminder. Every bone we dig up is proof that the world we're living in right now, this version of Earth with these dominant species with us at the top, is not the only version that was possible. It's just the one that survived. And somewhere under the ground, there are creatures that ruled this planet longer than we can comprehend, frozen in stone, waiting to remind us that nothing lasts forever and that something extraordinary always comes next. If you want to go deeper on the science behind mass extinctions and what they actually teach us about the future of life on Earth, the next video is already waiting for you.